When we were in Bulacan, Janine tried to kill me as well.
Huh?
She literally tried to murder me in my own house over there. So I go out to get something from the car, and Janine locks me out. And there's like 500 cockroaches in this one particular place, and she's not letting me in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Half a Nice Day podcast with your host, Joshua.
And Janine.
And I hope you really like what we've done with the place. We've actually smoothened it out a little bit, I would say. I added some posters, which I had to get online. I know it's not very clear in this video, but the artwork on it is amazing because I got two from an artist who I think lives in the Philippines and one Lebanon one, which surprisingly the shipping was more than this poster.
Yeah.
But
because both of them, you got them digitally and then you printed them, right?
Exactly. So these two, I got like massive sized images, and I just got it printed from like a printing store, and then Lebanon I had to get it really like printed out and then shipped to me.
Because Lebanese are special.
Very special. Very special.
For those who are watching on YouTube, you will see that it is a much moodier feel. And then for those who are listening, we'll just try to make our voices a little bit more moody.
Like more sensual?
So they can hear
Hello, everyone,
the darker
back.
feel to the episode.
But it's so good to be back, guys. We've actually been MIA for a while. I think we took a break without us even knowing.
You think?
Yeah, because like we haven't been recording in quite some time. We've been quite busy. A lot of things on our plate, as I would say. And it just feels really good to be back. Just Janine and I, the dynamic duo, if you will, the OGs of the Half a Nice Day podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's nice to be here. You know, like I think this is where my home is. This particular room.
Literally, it is your home.
It is in my home because I'm too poor to get an own studio, so we're doing it from our spare bedroom. But yeah, that's actually quite good. Like we managed to save a lot of money just by having this in our space. And speaking of that, another good news, which is our Happy News of the Week.
Bling! Wow, you went right into it.
Guns a-blazing.
No wasting time. I like that. Yeah, because I told him let's not record such a long episode.
Yeah, we're trying to find our sweet spot when it comes to the podcast. You know, I know that some of our episodes run too long.
Especially when we have a guest, which makes sense.
Which is understandable, but I don't want to keep such a very long podcast as well. I want to keep it like in bite-sized information which people can digest. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're not that big of a celebrity yet. That once we hit the Joe Rogan mark, then of course we'll do like 4-hour podcasts.
In like 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. So the happy news of the week is the Dutch Parliament have approved legislation to establish work from home as a legal right, making the Netherlands one of the first countries to grant remote working flexibility by law. So by now, there are a lot of companies who are starting to get back to work, like work in an office. Yeah. No more work from home. There are famous companies who have pulled the plug on that.
Tesla.
One of them, Tesla. And a lot of, I guess, people who work for Tesla resigned because...
Speaking of Tesla, just to sidetrack, I know. Did you see the picture of him on this yacht?
Yeah.
And he looks like a pale alien ghost.
I saw.
Crazy.
Yeah. But he does look really pale though.
But I understand why.
Why?
The amount of work that guy does, I don't think he's ever seen the sun in his entire life.
I mean, true, but why are we judging him for his looks, right? Poor guy.
No, but billionaires in general have really, really poor bodies. Except for like the exception of, I think, Jeff Bezos.
Is he buff?
He's jacked.
He's
ripped, dude.
Okay.
He looks like a wrestler with lots of money.
Wait, did you see that caricature of Elon Musk with him? Because he was walking and his like chest is quite huge. Okay. And then they drew him with So his body tilted to the sideways, and you can see that his chest is really big, like as if it's puffed up. And
Like
it's
in a
not,
good or bad way?
no, like it's not proportionate to his
Okay.
body. We'll put up a picture here. And someone sort of took that picture and outlined his body shape and then sort of morphed him into a character of his head, and someone is controlling him from the inside, as if his head and then a smaller, like childlike body who's on his chest.
Oh, like
And on the
two people
inside.
basically, like the trench coat situation where
No, like the rest of his body is like a robot, and he's a man child. And there's a little torsoed guy inside controlling his bigger body.
Okay.
And they took the logo of Tesla, and I'll try to find that picture.
Yeah, because of the Neuralink, I'm pretty sure like some guy was like, oh, maybe Elon is actually
maybe he's
run by
creating
it.
these memes, to make him famous, to make him
He's
like,
all over the
buzz.
news like every day. I'm pretty sure
There's always something
something
about Elon
of
Musk.
Elon Musk, like an affair, twins.
Him pulling the plug on Twitter.
Oh, that made global news. And yeah, so many things. Him being with, I think, Microsoft CEO's wife. So many
What?
things, guys. This guy
What?
is, yeah.
Wait,
it's
where-
all over.
No.
Yeah.
No. Where is that from?
Look, I'm typing in Google Elon Musk.
Okay.
And then if you go to Google and then you click on the news tab, okay? The messy world of Elon Musk. Elon Musk alleged affair with Google's co-founder's wife lead to divorce and a friendship. Report.
Okay.
Next, Elon Musk asked judge to start Twitter trial on October 17. Next, Elon Musk had an affair with Google's co-founder's wife. Media report. Elon Musk's money doesn't have power. Video goes viral.
What are they talking about? This is it. They took the
Oh, it's like there's a
logo
control.
of T and they put like torso.
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
Some people are quite creative.
Yeah, but also like people are obsessed with this guy.
I mean, he's
everywhere.
like he's trying to manage a lot, like Tesla, Boring Company, Neuralink.
He's doing
so
well.
many things,
He's doing
yeah.
well, but I think he's living in an orthodox life where he's living as if he's not a billionaire.
He's living as if he knows he's gonna become the most powerful man on this earth one day,
Like what?
like a super villain.
Is it true that he's saying he doesn't have a house and he lives with his friends? He doesn't have his own house.
He said that?
Yeah, somewhere.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That man can afford the whole
Right?
of South Africa.
Right?
Yeah.
Because this is what his ex-partner was saying. Grimes. The one who had this baby who
Yeah.
we can't pronounce the name.
X1Z Su
Yeah,
24 is
exactly.
X96.
She claims that, there are a lot of things that he's not providing for someone who's a billionaire. And they're not living a billionaire-ish life. They're living a frugal life.
Which
is
is
quite
nice
weird.
as well.
Hmm.
Same as Bill Gates, right? He's also going in that direction. Oh, I'm going to donate all my money into these kinds of things. And
Well, yeah, that's great. Live a simple life, but don't live it as if you can't afford a house when you can.
he's a minimalist.
Yeah, but at least have a house, dude. And not live off of your friends.
That's
when you're a
that's
billionaire.
how he's a billionaire.
I don't
He
know.
must have
man. I
been
find it
freeloading his whole life.
weird. I find
But it's so crazy. Elon Musk, oh my God. I can do a full episode about him, I guess. Like, crazy guy. I don't know, I'm still on the fence about him, but let's see what happens in the long run.
Okay. Well, this episode is not about him. I'm
Yes.
sorry about that.
No, what were you saying? The Dutch? The Dutch have...
Forgot about it already. Well,
No, but
they
the Dutch
passed.
are the most liberal people right now. You can do stuff in their country, which is taboo everywhere else.
Yeah.
In terms
So-
of consuming something, in terms of...
Under the new law, employers must consider all such requests and give adequate reasons for refusing them. So I guess it's still a balanced work from home and work from the office. But if the employee has a specific reason for him or her needing to work from home and has an adequate reason to do so, then you cannot refuse for them
Right.
to not work from
So,
home.
like, basically desk jobs. Like, you don't have to be physically present in office to perform unless you're, like, Otherwise, like a garbage man, he can't work from home.
Yeah, it really depends on your profession, right?
Yeah.
There are some jobs where fortunately they can be flexible and they can work completely from home.
Or
Just
even
like
in a different
yours.
country, yes.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with that privilege,
And then there are some jobs like mine where I need to be in the office from time to time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Time to time, we've literally been home one day in the last few.
Hey, I'm new.
Yes,
When
that's
you're
true.
new, you have to like make sure that everything's
Yeah.
spick and span in the office before you like take your days at home. Anyway, we digress. But that's where we're headed at because we just talked about OEC and how bad the whole experience is.
Yeah, so just today I put out a teaser from our last episode 61, about the whole OEC experience from the eyes of a Dubai resident.
Yeah.
But what we had to endure.
It was a whirlwind.
Guys, think of it as like someone shooting you in the face while you're already on the ground and you're on fire. And then
Okay, chill.
And then like there's a massive dog eating your leg.
Oh gosh. Well, the thing is, the reason why we have been a little bit of an MIA because Josh and I went back to the Philippines for a couple of days. Very, very nice. We were able to get back to the motherland after almost 3 years for me. Same for you.
Same.
Almost the same. We weren't together back then, but we went back to the
Somehow our
Philippines.
paths crossed over there in Philippines. Like God wants us to really put us together, but unfortunately we didn't meet there and we had to meet here.
But we went back because we are planning our wedding. So that was the main concern.
Yes.
Main
Objective of going to Philippines for 4 days.
For 4 days.
4 days, guys.
Flew an 8-hour flight going and then another one coming back. To be honest, I'm not too happy with my flight Emirates going. But then coming back, it was okay. It was a good flight.
See, let me tell you this first. In episode 1, I spoke about Cebu Pacific. I might have mocked them a little bit. I agree. And I'm certainly sorry about that. But the experience of Emirates that I had, maybe both going there and coming back, was below par as what I received from Cebu Pacific. At Cebu Pacific, it was so smooth for me. I don't know what happened to Emirates. And this is the first time I flew in Emirates in like 20 years. And I'm just like...
And I was there to prove a point to him that Emirates is exceptional. I'm not going to fly any other airlines. I cannot fly Cebu Pacific. I cannot fly PAL. This girl is just too much.
I'm pretty sure if Emirates had asked a few people, hey, do you mind standing for the whole flight because we're fully booked?
Of course they're not going to do that.
No, but it was so poor, guys. Like, I don't want to bash any company, especially a company that's here in Dubai, but guys,
Hey, we're free to say...
Get your head out of the gutter.
We're free to say our comments. We're just saying, like, it's not my usual experience. I fly Emirates all the time.
Yeah.
And to me, I was just like, what is happening?
And with the funniest part, we landed in Philippines. The lady in front of me, because Emirates somehow has a survey which is given to you, like it's accessible like maybe 30 minutes before you land. And she was writing like a whole paragraph of how terrible the service was. And I'm just like, I'm reading and I'm pointing to Janine. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, you were telling me, but I couldn't read. Like, I didn't have my glasses on. But
yeah, but it was so funny. I'm just like, that's why I take PAL or Cebu Pacific.
I don't know. That flight to me was not it. So I'm hoping for my next flight, again with Emirates, because I'm loyal, to be a much better experience. #Emirates. Please sponsor me.
Fly better.
Please sponsor me.
Sponsor you in what way, dude?
Give me free
chicken
flights.
or beef?
But yeah, we went back to the Philippines for wedding things, and unfortunately, because we both are in a new company, we have to renew our OEC, just like what we said a couple of episodes ago.
So what, before we get there, like Janine and I clearly know that we have to get our OECs done, but we don't know the first step. And I'm like, you know what?
It's not like we don't know the first step.
No.
We know, but we can't put an appointment in.
Exactly. No, we know the first step basically. Sorry, I have to correct myself. We knew the first step, but in this age of COVID and what's going on the website and what we saw on the news and on Facebook, we're like, where do we begin? So I'm like, you know what? I have an hour between while I was working. I'm like, I have an hour where I was free. I basically took my lunch break and I drove all the way there. Guys, that place was chaos. And it was like, I didn't feel bad. I just felt sad because there were families sitting there, ladies sitting in the heat. This is all outdoor, by the way, fanning themselves, holding a cold water bottle against their face. I'm like, how can the Philippines government or even a Philippines consulate here in our own country, especially in the UAE, treat their
Allow
people
this.
like this? Like, get a
Yeah.
hold of yourself. Make sure that you ensure that all these people are at least indoors, or try to service everyone faster. But yeah, it was so crazy. Like, it was so funny because there was another like Indian Pakistani guy there, and he's like, "Why are you here? Is your maid with you?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm a Filipino." And he's like, and I could see in his eyes he also felt bad for me. I'm like, I don't need your pity. I just need like the Philippines embassy office to get a grip of themselves, man.
Yeah. No, man, I'm the maid.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
the
gonna
maid
say,
to my own country.
I'm the maid, sir.
Yes, ma'am, sir.
And I came in the afternoon, and he said in the morning, he said it was like complete chaos. And this is like, unfortunately, this was like the last working day before the whole Eid break, so I understand the rush, but
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that place cannot accommodate the amount of Filipinos here in this
It's
country.
just, as I said, I'm going to repeat myself. The whole system is archaic. The systems, the computers that they use, everything is slow. Everything is old. They can't even do a couple of things. Like, your best friend unfortunately put in a wrong name or a wrong letter or a wrong something on his form. And he did have his appointment. He asked them to change it, and their answer is like, sorry, we can't change it. The only place you can change it is back in the Philippines. Like, what?
Yeah.
You all have the same systems.
It's all integrated into one. And the funniest thing, that if you apply now for an online appointment, which they cap it at 500 people, it's a bloody Google Forms page. I was like, guys, come on. I did my dissertation with a Google form, and you're managing a whole country and employee certificates on a Google Forms. Where's the privacy in that? Yeah.
It's just like information being leaked. Your email will be there. It can be just, I don't know.
So crazy. It's so crazy. And I don't understand why they have to know our salary, know our contract and everything. I know it's maybe for the like the safety of certain individuals, especially like the
They need to protect the welfare of most of our, let's be honest, our domestic helpers, because they're the ones who most likely will not be paid well, who will not be treated right. So really, this whole thing is sort of made to protect the overseas Filipino workers,
But there has to
especially
be a
those
better
who
way.
are paid in the lower bracket.
yes.
But yeah, it's just unfortunate for the rest of, those who are not having the same, I don't know,
Concerns.
the same concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
we'll speak a little bit about later, because when we actually went to the POA office in Ortigas. But Philippines was crazy, guys. Like, in 4 days, the amount of things that happened to us. Like, first of all, Janine and I drove in Philippines.
yeah.
So, we are professional, like Fast and the Furious, Vin Diesel family is everything.
I'm really proud of Josh for driving in the Philippines, though. Like, in Manila.
At first, I was like, yo, I'm going to take a turn. I can't see anything through this 100% tint of a rent-a-car. And I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, I know I know I must have crossed something, or I was not supposed to go. I just went. And but all in all, no problems at all. We got our full refund back, a full safety deposit back when we returned the car. So the car was like in top condition. And the amount of kilometers we put on that bad boy,
a lot.
oh
I
man,
cannot
it's
even
like I drove to
fathom.
the moon.
It's like we drove from Parañaque to Quezon City, from Quezon City to Subic, from Subic to Pampanga, Pampanga back to Subic, Subic to Bulacan, Bulacan to Tagaytay.
No, Bulacan, we went back to Quezon City to Tagaytay, Tagaytay back. No,
Tagaytay
no.
to Batangas.
Yeah, Batangas.
Batangas back to Tagaytay.
Yes.
And then Tagaytay back to Quezon City.
Yeah, we had 1 hour of shopping in that whole trip.
We went to Uniqlo, of
And,
course.
yeah.
Our favorite shop. Again, sponsor us, Uniqlo. We love you.
Yeah, it was actually quite good. It was
Yeah.
actually quite good.
Yeah.
But it was really an amazing experience, at least to see Janine's family.
Yeah.
Number one.
And
Their
your
family
family
is big, guys. Like, I'm telling you, if Philippines ever goes to war, they will just like, let's just call Janine's family. That's all we need.
called the
Because
Samson clan.
yeah, seriously, the Samson clan, and like 3 million people will come out of nowhere. Seriously, and I go to their house, I see Filipinos, and then there's one white guy in the corner, and then there's like some other people. Her lola's there with her friends, and her lola's like super flashy and all her gold. And I'm like, whose house is this? And then I meet a doctor in the other corner, which is Kuya Yuri's grandfather.
Yes.
And then yeah, there are like 300 kids in the room like playing. I'm like, what is going on here? But this is what I really miss, you know? This is what I really miss. Like one massive house.
Yeah.
And like 5 different families.
Yeah.
All inside.
I wish we had more time to actually spend with them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't even seen my whole family. That was like a speck of my family, by the way.
I know. And everyone's treating me different. Like, I'm just like, well, I got like harassed. No, I'm kidding. But it was such a nice experience. Unfortunately, it was due to unfortunate circumstances that we had to be in Pampanga.
Yeah.
But it was just really nice, you know, like the province life, chilling, wearing slippers, shorts, and like a sando.
Yeah. I cannot count how many times we actually ate at Jollibee. The first night, the second night, and the third night, for all of those nights, we ate Jollibee.
Yeah.
Jollibee is
the
life,
Jaybird.
yo. Jollibee is life.
Yeah. It was so crazy going back to Jollibee there. And like, I received 500. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I received 500 po, sir.
Yeah. Well, ma'am, sir, welcome to Jollibee. I received 500. Can I have one C5?
Wala pong credit card. Cash lang po. Thank you.
May Gcash kayo? Oh, may Gcash? I'm like, ano yun? Ano yun po?
Welcome, ma'am, sir, to Jollibee.
The best was
How
my
can I
Tagalog.
help you?
Janine saw elevated. The moment I landed in Philippines is like, the Tagalog gods like, get your powers back. And me, like 11, trained so hard. And was like,
are you
defeated
referencing
all-
Stranger Things
yes.
now?
We just went on a Stranger Things binge, guys. My God.
It's not a binge. We're just going through season 4.
Because we
have
watched
one
season
more
3 last
episode.
week, season 4 now, and we're on the finale, which we'll watch on Friday. So if anyone spoils it for us, I'm gonna send you to the underworld.
It's already out there. I mean,
Upside down underworld.
Upside down. Underworld. It's all out there. I don't even know how we have dodged all of these
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Up until now.
Where were we?
OEC.
So we completed all the 3 days, and we're like, you know what? 4th day, we have no choice.
No, let's backtrack. The night that we landed, the afternoon that we landed, the first thing I told him that we need to do is like, look, we need to go to POEA. We need to
At
check
the terminal, yes.
at the terminal because they do have a booth there. We need to check what we need to do. And even before leaving, I asked the immigration officer, like, do we need an OEC when we leave?
Yeah.
Even if we're only here for 4 days. She says yes. You'll be able to leave without it. So we're like, okay, we're screwed. We have to do it. We go to the POEA booth and we said, okay, we had to leave Dubai. Unfortunately, emergency circumstances. Can you please help us? We're only here for 4 days. Can you help us verify our contracts and get us the damn OEC?
And then she's like, "Ay, ma'am, we cannot do this here."
Yeah. She's like, ay, ma'am, hindi po pwede dito yan. We cannot do it here.
Pupunta sa main office sa Ortigas.
Yeah.
Yung POA office.
Yeah. So she said that we had to go to the main office. So, okay, fine. We leave with broken hearts. We couldn't do it there. Took us another 2 hours to get a rental car because the car that we had rented, unfortunately, was in a different terminal. So already, like, just when we land, we were already having all of these issues. But thank God we got our car. Then we left. Took us 2 hours to get from Parañaque to QC because of the
2
traffic.
hours? No,
in
3. It was
EDSA.
3 hours.
2
for sure.
hours.
A little bit more than
Yeah.
2.
Because of the traffic jam is real in EDSA. Yo.
Yeah. And I was driving at like
And Josh was like
speed
driving
of
at like
5.
40. We missed like 3 exits because, of course, Google Maps wasn't too clear. Then we realized maybe we had to go through 2 ways. Then we got to his condo. His family was waiting for us. We couldn't find a parking, and the condo unit people were saying, "Oh, sorry, we don't have any parking for you." And we go to the parking lot, and 50% of the parking spaces are free.
More.
So Century Properties, I'm calling
Get
you
your
out.
life together. So far, Emirates, Century Properties.
We're gonna call out every single OEC people, POEA, DFA, OWA, all of you guys.
Pag-ibig. Everyone was like,
SSS.
Jollibee. No, you're okay. You're okay.
So eventually I tried to speak to the people. They said no. Josh tried his charm. They said no, we have no parking. His mom called them. They said no. Finally, his dad,
Who's Indian?
doesn't speak a word of Tagalog, speaks to the
Building
receptionist,
reception.
and she says, "Okay, sir, we'll get you a parking
She goes on her
space."
big girl walkie-talkie. She like does a few calls like, yes, we'll get you one. And my dad is like, like, you guys should have asked. I'm like, we did ask.
So, and then the adventure starts the next day. We wake up very, very early.
Yeah.
We get to drive all the way to Subic. Took us another like 3-4 hours.
I missed an exit again.
Because again, Josh missed his exits, 2 exits.
But
that he
it's
missed.
such a scenic drive, super scenic
Yeah,
drive.
so he saw all of these rice fields in Pampanga. We drove through SCTEX. So I was pointing a lot of like things that I used to do when I was in college on our way there. And finally we got there, met my family. It was my niece's baptism.
Which we had to miss because of the
So
drive.
also a lot of other family members were there. So Josh fortunately got to meet a lot of them. Then unfortunately, there was a death in the family. So we had to drive all the way to Pampanga, which is like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours away. And this is like, we were super tired, or we were pooped.
Oh, and the weirdest part, like, so like Janine decided, you know what, let her take on the role of driver.
Yeah,
for
I'll
now.
do the drive because
And
you already drove in the
She
morning.
braved, because it was like, I haven't seen rain like that since the last time I was in Philippines. I would say it was like crazy thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And we're in a convoy, like a 2-car convoy, and Janine's trying to keep up with her tita in the car in front of us. Her Lola.
Tito. It was Tito Meds driving.
Driving from there? Oh, okay. And Janine was super calm, but for me, I was like, basically like pooping my pants, but I wasn't trying to be obvious because Janine's driving and Janine's mom is in the back. And I just try to keep calm. But the way Janine was driving is super calm, super collected. She knew what she was doing. And I was like impressed. And then suddenly thunder came out of nowhere and lightning.
Yeah. And Josh was like pretty spooked. So it was good that I was driving at that point because I feel like Josh would probably poop his pants if he were driving.
I wouldn't, but I would definitely drive slower. But you were quite fast. I think you were still on 80 even in that rain.
Yeah, I was on 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely reduce my speed to like 30 or 40. Because zero visibility, guys. Like maybe 10 feet past that, you cannot see anything.
Yeah. Then after that, of course, we had to go back to Subic. It was like 12 midnight now by this point. Joshua's family also came and visited us in Subic.
Yeah.
And then they drove all the way back to Bulacan. So it was nice because, families met. Then we were in Subic. We had breakfast. Then we drove again. We drove all the way to Bulacan from Subic, which was another 2 hours.
Yeah, Janine started getting hungry midway and she was complaining, I want Jollibee, because she was really craving for that palabok.
Palabok. And every time we went to Jollibee, it wasn't available.
Out of stock, sir?
Ay, out of stock na po siya. So, luckily, we got to this drive-thru, which took us ages to get into.
Yo, I was gonna start throwing fists that apparently... Oh, man, the car in front of us. I'm like, you know what? I'll pay for you.
It was like good 30 plus minutes
Easily.
in the
And then he
drive-thru.
didn't... Then all our orders came and then mine didn't come. And I
Yeah.
had to like, sir, can you just like go to the side because you're causing a crowd? I'm like, me? How about that guy who was in front of us a while ago? But yeah, I eventually made it to Bulacan. I showed Janine my house, my initial house. My mom's
Yes.
initial house, sorry.
Yes. So it was a really nice house. Met, well, not really the family because they weren't there.
Yeah,
Just
shout
your
out to the
aunt.
twins and my nieces. Basically, they had their debut. They were doing debut stuff. So shout out to Danny and Gabby. Tushing as well, who doesn't look like Tushing anymore, but that's an
not a-
inside joke, but it's okay.
She's not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Bulacan, we drove all the way to Quezon City.
You know what?
This
Wait,
was-
before, when we were in Bulacan, Janine tried to kill me as well.
Huh?
She literally tried to murder me in my own house over there. So I go out to get something from the car, and Janine locks me out. And there's like 500 cockroaches in this one particular place, and she's not letting me in. And I had like 5 strokes, I think, while forcing her to open the door.
First of all, it's not true that there are 5 cockroaches out there. It was one, and it was a dead one. Okay.
Still, guys.
And Joshua's fear of cockroaches is just through the roof. So I devised a plan. He was about to take something from the car outside. And right on the porch, as he goes down, I see this dead cockroach. So as soon as he was coming back, I was smiling. He was smiling. He's like, I'm going to get inside. Then, like, as he's inching closer, I locked the door, the main entrance to the house. And he starts freaking out. He's like, the cockroach is going to kill me. It's going to eat me. And it was just laying there dead.
No, but you know, like, cockroach is what they say, right?
What?
It's like a demigorgon. If
No.
it's not fully dead until you like fire it.
No,
Yeah.
it's dead. It's not moving at all.
But you know, like cockroaches, they have this sense of camaraderie, and if they see a dead cockroach, it'll notify all the other cockroaches, and they will all come and pick up this cockroach and try to breathe life back into it.
Okay.
And I was in the battleground
Sure.
while this was all happening and all going
Sure.
down,
Okay.
and I didn't want to be consumed by the torment of
Okay.
cockroach kings.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we got to Quezon City and then we shopped. The next day was our last full day in the Philippines. So we drove all the way to Batangas to the location of our wedding. On the way there, we realized that there is a POEA office in Parañaque, which is close to NAIA, which is the terminal, Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 1. So we get there and
In some mall, it's
a duty-free mall.
Yeah.
But it says in Google Maps, and there's a couple of reviews, fast OEC processing, and we're like, okay, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
go. We got there, and this dude tells us, sorry, it's already closed. It's not here anymore. Like, it was here before, and now it's closed. And we're like, just our luck. He says, but there is one in NAIA Terminal 1. Try it. Go. So, because it was just like a 5-minute drive away, we went, parked our car super far away, and I thought I was going to have a heat stroke.
You were about to faint.
At
I
one
remember.
point. We walked all the way in, walked those ramp. As soon as you get up to like departures, the ramp that's
Yeah.
going up, we had to walk all the way. Anyway, we got in. And of course, this girl tells us, sorry, it's not something that we can do or process here. You have to go to the main branch in Ortigas. And we told her, our flight is tomorrow. We don't have an appointment. Your next appointment is in August. And it was July 11 at that point. And she says, don't worry, book in an appointment, go there, explain your situation, blah, blah, blah. So,
No, but one thing I want to address in that particular office where we went to NAIA, there was this lady on the side of us, and she was literally crying
yeah.
to the guy who was attending her, saying that she was doing this OEC for her son, and the guy didn't even bat an eye. Like, he was just like so incompassionate. Is that a word? Incompassionate.
Yeah.
And he was just like, not my problem, basically. The way of his voice, and I was just like there. I'm like, douchebag.
Yeah. It's difficult because I guess they get so many of these requests in a day and they don't know how to handle it anymore.
Yeah, but this
So
is an
they're
old
also-
lady guy.
I know.
Yeah.
But they're also tired of everything else, right?
Exactly. That's understandable. But at least explain it to a way where this girl
Yeah.
doesn't feel super dumb. She's already like a middle-aged woman
Yeah,
doing this
she's
for her
probably, like,
son.
closer to
No idea of
60s.
technology. And like he's like making her feel like so below the earth.
And then she's like, and then the guy was like, enter your password. She's like, sir, I don't know what password is. Like, she clearly doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
username or password or anything like that. And this guy was just not giving her the time of his day.
Yeah.
And lastly is like if you want to book an appointment, just scan the QR code. And he points to the window which had the QR code printed out. And the lady was like, QR code? Like, what is a QR code? You know? So it's so sad because people who are not really computer literate, and there's still a lot of them, especially
Millions,
the older
yeah.
generation. What would they know about QR codes and scanning this and doing that and all that? So imagine if you just let the people who are literate in terms of computer and logging in and everything else do their own thing with a proper process, an app or a website that actually worked, and then they could save the time to actually help people who would need their help,
So true.
right?
And everyone is always on lunch break there. Like no matter what time.
Gosh, you know what? We're gonna skip to that part.
Yeah.
Anyway, we weren't able to do our OEC, so
So we're like, you know what, screw it. We'll have another full day tomorrow. Let's just dedicate that
not
full day.
day. It's half
Sorry,
a day.
half day. We have still half a day in the morning. Let's just dedicate that time. Now we have to do wedding stuff. So we're like, okay, let's put this to rest and revisit it.
Yeah, let's
back
not
again
ruin
tomorrow.
our day.
Yes.
So we did our wedding stuff. Thankfully, thank God for that. The next day, the flight. It's the day of our flight. Our flight is at 6 p.m. We wake up. We go to this Ortigas office. We have our appointments, but we didn't print out anything. They're all on
first of all, no parking.
Yes. Wait. They're all on our mobile phones.
Yeah.
So as Joshua said, no parking. They said parkings are only for employees. Wow, great.
Where do we park? Oh, at the mall down the road, which is like 4 kilometers away. I'm like,
Yeah, and then you have to walk all the way here. So
we saw an
anyway,
abandoned building, and we're like, you know what?
yeah,
Let's take our
because we were there
chances.
really early, so there were still a lot of parking slots. By the time that we got back, a lot of people actually parked themselves as well. But anyway, we got a parking, which was like a 7-minute walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, ish, from the Ortigas building. We get there. There's a huge queue already. But I told Josh, stay in line. I'm going to ask this other guy, what are we going to do? Then he helps us and he says, oh, where's your appointment? We show him our appointment slot, which was in August, and we explained our situation. And he's like, okay, I need you to go out. I need you to print your appointment letter, which was already on my phone, mind you, and come back. And we come back with our prints. The printing shop is like about 5-minute walk away.
Yeah, but that was also total chaos.
Yeah.
No internet. The guy doesn't know how to read, I think, on that computer.
Yeah.
And
there's a queue for the printing, of course. So anyway,
Yeah.
we printed them out, got back, and all he does with this paper is look at it with the same information that we showed him from my mobile, and he just writes down, flight is today.
yeah, does the weirdest signature, and he's like, okay, go inside. I'm like, seriously, guy?
Like, we could have done that with just telling people that our flight is today. So we got inside, and then we get to the
Main holding area, yeah.
holding area of probably 100 people,
Easily.
maybe more.
Easily.
And the way that the queues in these sort of government offices in the Philippines work is that there's no one line. There's like a snake zigzag line. Imagine a snake zigzag line. And there are chairs, right? There are horizontal chairs that are put into rows. And what happens is that by the end of it is where you get to speak to an officer or an employee who would help you out.
Yeah.
And what happens is every time someone stands up to go to and get served, the rest of the people stand up and move one chair.
To the left or right, depending
To the left or
on
right.
what is that queue of that particular line.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. So like, just a quick visual. So like, ouch. Like if Janine and I are sitting here and there's another seat there, the next person will move there. Janine will move to that seat. I will move to Janine's previous seat, like that. And that is also how it works here in the Philippines
Oh yeah, true.
consulate.
Yeah, here too.
Is that a Philippines thing? I don't know,
It's
but
probably a
it's
Philippines
the
thing.
most stupid thing. It's like
Because if someone else like grabs the chair in front, then anyway, so I'm trying to calculate because I sit down and then by this point I'm already annoyed. So when I'm annoyed, I get stressed out. So I'm just looking at Josh. I'm like, Josh, I'm trying to calculate everyone in front of us. There's probably 100 plus people, and in the last like 5 minutes, only one chair has moved.
Yeah.
One point has moved. So I look at him like, for every person here, 5 minutes. It's not gonna happen. We're not gonna make our flight. So I go speak to a security guard and I tell him of our situation, and I tell him, boss, we have to be at the airport by 4 p.m. So he says, okay, come. Brings us to
he was a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. I wish I got his name, but sir, the security guard in the Ortigas POEA office, you're the best. The main security guard, you're the best.
Yeah.
So he's like, come, you have to go to a special guy who you can speak
So it was
to.
like all the way in the corner was
Yeah.
I think doing special requests.
Yes.
Like people had same flights, or like there was some
Exactly.
discrepancy in something or something
So I
like that.
called Josh and he's like, him too? I'm like, yes, him too. Both of us were in the same flight. So we get to this booth and there was one girl who was already talking to him. So we had to wait. Then come our turn, we speak to this guy. And all he tells me is like, oh, you have to go out and print these stuff again. And he's like, by the way, your case is a very special case. We will have to put into writing that you'll go back to Dubai and have your employees certified there. But for now, we're going to give you a special pass.
No, he said, so basically it was just Janine being attended at this point. I was waiting in the corner because I didn't want to crowd that particular area. Remember, this is just
Yeah.
you and this guy.
Yeah. I'm
And then
not
he
yet
said,
done with my story.
okay.
He's going to give me a special pass, but this special pass requires a signature of someone who sits 2 floors above and is a very special person. So I guess is the head of whatever, the director.
Head up. But
And if he decides to sign it, then I can fly. If he decides not to sign it, then I don't fly.
then she's stuck.
So the fate of me getting into the flight is in the hands of this director of whoever he is.
3rd floor director.
Exactly. So I was just like, okay. I took the papers and I was just waiting for Josh for him to speak to this guy as well to tell him of his situation. So I already gave him a brief. I'm like, oh, the guy over there, he's my fiance. He has the same situation. So he'll speak to you. You'll see his records, blah, blah, blah. Josh gets into his seat and this guy runs his records and gets his previous history of OEC from his previous company. So this guy was like, oh, you already have a previous history. So you know what? You don't need a special signature from the director.
Yeah, then he gives me a form which I have to fill out on why I did not do my contract verification in Dubai. I have to make a promise that I will go back to the POEA office and get it done before a date of my
Choice.
choice. So in the form I put August, so I still have some time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, cool. And then Janine is like seeing me from a distance. And she's like, wait.
Yeah. And then this guy was like, okay, I can do your OEC for you. You just have to print these papers. So once again, you have to go all the way outside, notarize this affidavit that says you promise you're going to get your contract verified in Dubai. So I'm like, hold up, sir. Why is it that he gets to have an OEC and I don't? And he's like, well, I didn't get any history from your, when I run your check. And I told him, excuse you, I've been to the Philippines a couple of times and I know that I have my OEC. He's like, I didn't see anything. I'm like, run my records again. So he's like, show me your name. I said, make sure you put Janine, make sure you put Huri, make sure you put my middle initials. So he did it. And lo and behold,
It was there.
my records come out. And I'm like, dude, what did I tell you? So it came out and it's like, okay, we're going to do the same process. Go out, print these stuff, do your affidavit. Promise me that you're going to verify as soon as you get to Dubai, which we can't because there's no schedule. Anyway, we get there, we get our papers printed out. It was such a chaotic moment. We get back in at the same time. I'm getting worried because we parked our car in an abandoned building.
Yeah, we're like, it's gonna definitely be towed or have the wheel lock on it for sure.
So I'm like, dude, what an adventure.
She's like, can you go check the car? I'm like, I'd rather do this.
Yes, he's like, I'd rather do this first and then check on the car later. I'm like, you know what? You're right. So we go back in. This is like for the third time of going back out and in.
In and out.
We've already spent like, 3 hours? We get back and this dude had the balls to go on a lunch break at 11 a.m. Lunch break. And his lunch break, he took his sweet time and he took an hour, which I'm sure he deserved. But
because when we left, he says, go quickly and come back and we'll finish it.
And Janine and I knew that our flight was at 6 and I had to be at the airport at 4 p.m. So it's like, go print it out and come back. So we were really in a hurry.
That time we were actually a little bit quicker than the 2 previous times.
It probably took us like 15 minutes to go out and come back.
Yeah, okay, 15.
Yeah, 15 closer to 20. But we did our best. And by the time that we got back, he's on his lunch break. And I'm like, are you for real?
I'm for real?
Is Ashton Kutcher around? Am I being punked right now? Like, what the hell? I was really pissed.
Am I in the upside down? Because this ain't right. This time frame doesn't match. Is this a multiverse that we stepped in?
I was super pissed. Super, super pissed. But
I could see in Janine's face because when she's pissed, she doesn't talk.
Yeah.
She doesn't. Yeah. And so she's super pissed, and I'm always chill. I'm in a chill position, which is dangerous. You know, it's like there's like 5 guys with guns in front of me, and I'll be like, yo, whatever. So like, Janine's pissed. She's sitting down. I'm standing. And I'm helping other people at this point because other people are asking me for the process and I'm talking to them. And Janine sees me struggling, explaining to them this whole OEC process, and Janine's gonna help me. I'm just like,
I'm just leaving him alone because I didn't want to be rude to other people because I'm already like furious at this point.
Yeah.
So I try to help this girl out and then I sit down. And this security guard, who, bless his soul, came to us and he's like, guys, go out, eat, and come back. Eat. I tell you, eat. You know, he's going to be back in an hour. And Josh looks at me. He's like, are we going to eat? I told him, no, we're not going to eat. We're going to stay here. We're going to wait for this dude to come back. We're going to make him finish everything and then we leave. So, of course, he takes his sweet time. He takes an hour for his break. I went to the toilet and then this security guard goes back to Joshua and he's like, dude, I'm telling you, you and your wife go and eat. And
Joshua's he's talking to me in Tagalog and I'm like, this guy's so nice. Like, I want to go out, get him food and come back.
I know. He was super nice.
Sir, Kuya, sir, yung asawa mo, sabihin mo, kain muna sa labas, then pupunta dito 1 oras. And I'm like, yeah.
He actually did really well. That was such good Tagalog. Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
What?
No, you're not that all the time. That's not normal.
Old information.
It's not normal. I think you rehearsed that like 3 times. That's why.
Like we're doing the OEC episode today. Like at 2 hours in the morning.
So he came out.
No, but before that, I also want to address this story which happened in between of us waiting for. I think we should be wrapping up soon, but I want to do this very quickly. But there was a girl there who was clearly in distress. You can see it from her body language. You can hear it from her tone, and she's trying to get help from as much civilians like us to get her OEC done. So basically, her situation is that she works in Turkey. The closest consulate or wherever she can do her paperwork is in Lebanon, of course. And she's not able to do it there because, of course, how will she go to Lebanon? She's like, so let me do it in Philippines. So the funniest thing is that there's this guy, I think he's the manager of the floor. He seems quite big. He seems like he's like the manager or the boss or something. I don't know.
Big dog.
Yeah, but he comes in as like flashy style and stuff, and he's talking to her like she's like below him basically.
Yeah,
and he's like
super rude.
Has such a degrading tone.
Yeah,
and I'm seeing this all unfold right in front of me. And apparently, her situation is that her salary on her certificate is lower than what is the
benchmark.
Yeah, the benchmark,
The
the
allowable-
staple, yes,
The allowable
salary for
salary.
a Filipino worker who's working outside the Philippines. But her payslips prove otherwise, so she's okay. Like, she's still okay in that sense. But the guy's like, not my problem. Go to your employer, go do this, go do that, go to the Philippines consulate in Lebanon, call them. And he gives them the number and the email of the Philippines consulate. He goes in and for like 15 minutes, he comes out and gives her a paper which has the number of the Philippines consulate in Lebanon. And I'm just like, Janine and I have been struggling in this place because we have no
cellular
cellular
service.
data or
Service.
service inside this consulate. You want her to call? Why can't you call, man? And why can't you just help sort this out from a landline? Because I'm pretty sure with a landline or a solid internet connection, you can get all these things done. He was so unapologetic. He's like, I don't like. He had like in his face was so straight, like he couldn't feel for this person. And I wanted to go speak up, which I feel like I should have, but at the same time, I was in the same boat as literally everyone else. And Janine and I, my case is more urgent, I would say, than hers. I hate to say that, but yeah, but it was so sad. And then Janine pointed out something at the end of the day which made me feel so disgusted about him having a very expensive ring. And I'm like, government employees in the Philippines certainly don't make that much salary, and they can buy this very expensive ring. And that
I know how much it costs because I work for the company. So
exactly, and I it was just very disgusted for me. I'm like, money really talks in government offices in the Philippines. I hate saying that about my country, but it's the truth. But
well, let's see how it's gonna change, because after all that, we got our OEC with the promise that we would have to fix it here.
Janine didn't like this guy's tone at one point though when it came to the salary part, but because he was doing the full verification in front of us, and like, you're really making this much, like to both of us, and we're like, yeah.
He looks at me and he's like, he was trying to mansplain to me that the field that I was supposed to put in was a monthly salary and not a yearly salary. I'm like, it's a monthly salary. And he asks again, monthly salary. And I'm like, yes, sir, it is a monthly salary. And then I think he stopped there. He did the same with Josh. But like, I don't know. To me, that whole experience was just chaotic. An awakening experience, because I did this before. I told you 2-3 years ago, I did this. Everything was quite smooth. So I don't know what happened in between, and why did they make it super complicated for people to actually get an employment certificate where it actually says the same thing in our visa. It says the same thing in our Emirates ID. We have our employer there. We have our lives in our Emirates ID. So to me, it's just not needed to have this employee certificate. It's just not. Anyway,
let's see what happens though in the future.
The good thing
at this rate,
is,
it's not gonna last very long.
The good thing is, a couple of days ago, the new president of the Philippines, Bongbong Marcos, had his State of the Nation address, and one of the points that he mentioned is that soon enough we will be having an automated process for employment verification for our contracts, and everything will be done on our mobile. And he urges the government officials to keep this as their number one priority. Now, to me, that is a great thing for all OFWs around the world. The only thing that I felt was lacking in his whole State of the Nation address in this topic is that he didn't really give details as to how are they going to do that.
No, but you know, Duterte also made the same promise, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are the steps to do this? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to hire our talented encoders in the Philippines and developers who actually do things? Which to me, I am so mind blown at how much talent we have in the Philippines of computer science people who actually know how to code, who code for big companies in the US. And probably in California, you know, where all of these big
Silicon Valley,
tech
Palo
companies
Alto
are. But you cannot get yourselves to actually have a working website for your employee certificate verification. Come on.
Guys, no, but if you actually check out government websites in Philippines, it's clearly done by a 5-year-old on MS Paint. Because everything is in like Comic Sans, some funky colors, and they're like Filipinos who design dresses for Beyonce. There are Filipinos who have chart songs on the Philippine, like in the international charts. There's Filipinos are beauty pageants, everything, and then they decide, you know what? Our country's represented by this 5-year-old kid on MS Paint to do our website. Like,
Yeah,
guys, you are a
seriously.
joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think this is a very rantful and we just have a lot of burdens that we've been carrying since our Philippines trip.
because we are oppressed by our own government. So I'm hoping that Bongbong Marcos will stay true to his word. I'm not sure how he's going to do it. I'm not sure how the government's going to do it. But I need to see a plan, yo. Like when you give something and when you state that you're going to fix something, how are you going to fix it is what you need to be talking about instead of just saying, I'm going to fix it. But I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the new president and let's see what he's going to be able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Time will tell. If anyone knows him and can actually reach out to him on behalf of us and maybe get him on as a guest on this podcast. I know he doesn't even do public appearances or do interviews on live television, but maybe he'll make an exception after hearing this episode.
After Have a Nice Day.
Yeah.
Who are these two people?
Who are these two
Bring
cats,
them to me.
You know? Like, yeah. But yeah, I think I think it was just a lot of resentment and hatred in us because the way we were treated by our own people. Not that it's how we look at the country as like
We love our country.
we love our country, and I know like this must have been a small hiccup, bad place, bad time, COVID, all these kinds of things, but we expect better.
I expect
Yeah.
better, not just for, we're not talking for ourselves because we're blessed. We were able to get through it because we knew what to say. We knew the process. We had
paid
money.
someone.
Paid someone.
I'm kidding.
We had money to go out, print papers, etc. We knew, technically speaking, what to do, how to book. But imagine the majority of...
Imagine if I was alone.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do it.
I would have.
Just, I cannot fathom the amount of people who are, again, not literate when it comes to technology or not even, who wouldn't
Missing
even
documents.
know what documents
Yeah.
to bring, how to print, what to do. So if really you're out there to help your people, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not helping them. And it breaks my heart to see those who are crying to these officers in the NAIA terminal when we were there, in the Ortigas branch when we were there, in the NAIA 1 terminal when we were there. It's just every single touch point we did, we saw people who were crying, just begging them to actually help them. And it breaks my heart to see our fellow Filipinos who are trying their best to leave the country to get money and pay for their own families' needs because unfortunately the government failed us. They couldn't generate, as much jobs and they couldn't help
Match
the economy.
global salaries,
They just,
yeah.
they couldn't. And they failed us once more with not being able to support our people. Okay.
Anyway, guys, have a nice day.
So, on a lighter note, next episode is going to be great because we have a guest.
We actually recorded the next episode already, so stay tuned for that. And please do subscribe, share the podcast with everyone. You know the drill. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and thank you for bearing with us.
If you're still here, sorry, we're not always fine and dandy and happy and fun. Sometimes we do rant because we want to talk about real things in life.
Yeah.
And this is real. But we're back.
We're back, guys. We have some guests already, which we're working on to bring to the next episodes, but we already have the next one set in stone because that's already recorded. But we love you guys.
We like you as a friend.
We
Other way
swear.
around.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. A solemn one.
Yes.
With the mood.
Dun, dun, dun.
Where was that going?
I don't know.
All right, this whole episode.